With the release of Season 9, we now have 9 seasons of The Flash, so today I thought it was time for me to stop and rank all 9 seasons of The Flash, ranked from the worst to the best. Please know that everything that I will say in this video is just my very own opinion. My name is SDub Nation, and you are free to comment down below your very own ranking of all 9 seasons of The Flash. With that being said, guys, please don't forget to check out that Twitter. That's going to pop up on your screen right now, and also that Arrowverse playlist. That link is always in the description. And without further ado, let's get right into our ranking. Kicking off our list at number 9 for me has got to go to the newest season, Season 9, and it hurts me to say this. The newest addition to the series, unfortunately, is the worst. While I admit we have some great episodes in there, like episode 9 and even 10, and even the premiere, I would say, is a great episode. But as this being the final season, we should be looking back at the legacy of the show and focus on Barry rather than Team Flash. And for some odd reason, even with a shortened season, they still managed to not give Barry justice. In his final season, we have a Red Death arc, interlude episodes that focus on Cecile, Nia Null, a time loop, and Arrowverse crossover that does not connect. A full circle episode in episode 10, and then episode 11, Barry isn't even in it. Episode 12, I don't even know what was going on. And episode 13 has a fantastic ending shot that did not feel earned at all. This season, it just felt like Eric Wallace was so salty that Grant Gustin ended the show early that he didn't get to do his Blackest Night crossover that he wanted to in season 10. And it shows here. You guys had time. There's no excuse. Season 9 should have been one of the greatest seasons. Instead, it's the worst. Number 8 is Season 7, a season that I thought was very terrible and was the worst season until Season 9 came out. A season that started off great and ended good, but the middle of this season is terrible with the recreation of the Speed Force. But she's evil and literally staying at Barry's house. Look, when I first watched it, I enjoyed it, but now I just found it pretty weird. I like that with the recreation of the Speed Force, Barry creates other forces, but he didn't create the people that got the powers. It's just a bunch of grown people calling Barry and Iris mom and dad, respectively. And I do think that the Godspeed arc was pretty much wasted. But if anything, if the series had to end here at this shot, it would be perfect.
Last time, huh?
Can you blame me? I want this moment to last forever.
At number 7 for me is Season 5. I love Nora, and the first couple of episodes of the season was just harmless fun and really emphasized the looming legacy that Barry would have after he vanishes in Crisis. It goes back to its roots of the previous first 2 seasons, dealing with family drama and a whole lot of heart. I also love Reverse Flash pulling the strings from behind the scenes with Nora. But the cicada stuff was poorly written. He just kept getting away, and while you're watching the season, you could understand how he kept getting away. And the idea of a meta-human Zodiac killer worked for me. Actually, the first cicada was actually pretty great, and his dagger being able to suppress the meta-human's powers, so that's how he's able to kill them all. I thought that created a nice little plot device for why he kept getting away. But it also prompted the season to have mostly filler episodes because the villain just wasn't compelling enough to chase for 23 weeks. Also, Nora does get annoying by the end when she turns evil and suppresses to the negative Speed Force. Other than that, it's a fun return to form for the series. At number 6 for me has got to go to Season 3, a season that I wish I could be negative about because everybody doesn't like this season. But I think what makes this season work is that every episode after Flashpoint, after the crossover, is about finding a way to save Iris. While Savitar is revealed a little bit too late in the season, him being future Barry was great and makes a whole lot of sense. We also introduced the idea of Flashpoint here, and I think that first episode promised a really cool season where Barry is in this new timeline, but he's also fading away because he's spending too much time in this timeline. All of it worked for me, but The Flash was a departure from Arrow. It was a nice breath of fresh air from the dark and gritty series, and in this season, they went darker and had Barry in Oliver Queen mode for most of the season. Understandably, yes, I mean, to be fair, I kind of enjoy it at some part. Kid Flash is introduced, H.R. Wells, one of the best Wells, and the drama is just up to 10 in this season, but I do think that Flashpoint should have been explored a little bit more. Maybe they could have introduced the graphic novels thing a little bit earlier. First half of the season is Flashpoint, and because of Flashpoint in the second half, that creates the Savitar character, and Barry has to now deal with those consequences. All in all, a pretty enjoyable season in my book, where Barry feels like the leader in some sense. Kicking off my top 5 list for me has got to go to season 8. This and season 3 battle back and forth for the number 5 spot for me. This is a season I actually really liked. The Armageddon crossover was great. Deathstorm was great as well. But then we shoehorn in a negative arc where the negative forces take over. And that's where I kind of got confused, that the negative forces took over the good forces, but we didn't know. So they were just evil. The writing was all over the place when it came to the episodes after Deathstorm, the interlude. But for some reason, they found a way and managed to all round it out by the end of the season with the beginning. With Barry taking the powers away from Reverse Flash and Armageddon, that caused the negative speed force to become unbalanced. Thus, its creation of the negative forces. I thought all of that worked for me. Barry is actually the focus here, and he's in almost all of the episodes and in the suit, just like in the Batman. If we take out the Iris's time sickness plot, this season would run a whole lot smoother, and it would be a whole lot higher. Number 4 is season 6. I went back and forth whether or not putting this at number 4 or at number 3, and I think I chose correctly here. I think what might have been the best idea and the best thing for this show is the graphic novels arc and splitting the seasons into 2 halves. One half, you have an incredible season full of tension and anticipation of the arrival of Crisis on Infinite Earths and Barry's death. I love the villain of Bloodwork, as he's someone who wants to cure the world of all diseases, who wants to achieve immortality and wants to stop death because of his mother dying. And that connects to Barry's psyche and the stress of an impending crisis that's going to take away his life. And also it connects to his past with him experiencing his mother dying. All of that worked to create a nice personal bond between the villain and the hero that all culminated in one of the best episodes in the series, The Last Temptation of Barry Allen Part 2 in this season. That's one episode that I will always remember. And also I really like the second half of this season. Just like I said with season 3, what I suggested for season 3 is what they did inside of this season. You had the first half dealing with Crisis. Crisis on Infinite Earths happens. He does something with the Speed Force that eventually makes it die. So we're moving into the second half, and whatever they did inside of Crisis on Infinite Earths has major consequences for the second half of this season. All of it worked for me because I just love actions have consequences story, and that's basically what this season is. The Flash, actions have consequences. I love it. Mirror Mistress is not that bad as people say she is, but it does take too long for Barry to realize that it's not actually his wife, Iris. I just think that Iris is the worst that she's ever been in the second half of this season. Even in the Mirrorverse, it's still a really great season of the show that gets a lot more hate than warranted. Kicking off my top 3 list is season 4. Again, this and season 6 battled between which one was going to go in number 3. But I really like season 4. And whereas season 6 kind of slows down in the second half, I think that season 4 just might have the best interlude episodes of the series. After a dark season like season 3, they decided to up the comedy, up the hijinks, and even the exposure. The energy is firing on all cylinders inside of this season, and I love it. Season 4 has so much entertainment value in it, introducing lively characters like Ralph Dibny and introducing our first non-speedster villain in DeVoe. And I thought his backstory was one of the best episodes of the series because it all connects to the creation of the Flash. So the same night that Barry got struck by the lightning, it's the same night that DeVoe got struck by lightning. And whereas Barry became the Flash, DeVoe became the Thinker, a villain. This season also has my favorite episode of the series, Inner Flash Time. It also has my favorite crossover, Crisis on Earth X. I just feel like this season is a season that you can just have fun with. You can turn on any episode and have a great time. The Bus Meta's plotline worked for me too, even though they cheated a little bit to still have the villain of the week type of thing. My runner-up at number 2 for me is season 1, possibly the most fun season on this list. It just has this cozy feel to it. The idea of Harrison Wells actually being revealed as Thawne, the mystery and the excitement surrounding all of it, the tension was just so great. It was some of the best tension inside of the entire Arrowverse when I was first watching this season. The Villain of the Week episodes work because we get to showcase a different ability of Barry. So while Star Labs is learning more about his abilities, we're learning more about his abilities as well. It's corny, it's cheesy, but it's all around charming. But even I can admit that it slows down in the last half of the season because Barry and Cisco and Caitlin are now in detective mode because they're on to Harrison Wells. But other than that, the entire season is just fantastic and serves as a nice breath of fresh air and contrast to the show Arrow. But coming in at my number 1 is season 2. Everything that you love about season 1, but better. They expand on the Arrowverse by introducing the multiverse, and I love the fact that they did it inside of this show because this is basically the anchor of the Arrowverse. Everything revolves around this show. The introduction of Supergirl, the introduction of the Legends. Most of the Legend characters come from The Flash, and so while we have this grounded, gritty show of Arrow, it provides a nice contrast to this fun, campy fantasy show, The Flash. And it's actually funny. I laughed a lot at most of these scenes inside of these episodes. I think this scene was actually in season 1, but I'm going to show a clip. And I think it was actually in season 1, but if it was in season 2, that just further proves my point.
Hey, excuse me. What happened last night? I know you didn't rob these people.
Oh, no, I was bored. Thought I'd have some fun.
Zoom is also the most terrifying villain of the Arrowverse. Look, I love Reverse Flash. The mystery surrounding him in season 1 was great, but Zoom is just a threatening force. The drama is up to 11. We have high stakes, and I personally think that this is prime Flash, prime Arrowverse. To be fair, the emotions are high as well, most of the episodes, but there are some negatives. Some of the episodes are just zoops in, takes someone to Earth 2, and then now Team Flash has to go to Earth 2 and save them. So we spend at least 5 episodes going back and forth from Earth 2 to Earth 1 again, just rescuing characters. That's how most of the middle episodes take place. But what the show cleverly does with that is using our knowledge of the multiverse against us to create one of the best surprises that is character focused and also satisfying by the end when the real Jay Garrick is revealed and he's wearing the face of Barry Allen's father, who we just previously saw die in the beginning of the episode. The emotional moments hit. Yes, it's darker than season 1. It doesn't go too dark like season 3. It's one of the perfect blends of drama and comedy and tension while also introducing one of the scariest villains of the Arrowverse while also expanding the Arrowverse to new lengths. I gotta say, The Flash season 2 has to come in at number 1. Alright guys, that is it for the ranking. Please know that everything that I did say in this video was just my very own opinion. My list was certainly not the right list. It was just my list, and you are free to comment down below your very own ranking of the Flash seasons. Please don't forget to check out that Twitter that's going to pop up on your screen right now, and also that Arrowverse playlist. That link is always in the description. And with that being said, guys, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Peace.